Hello everyone, Jester Geo here, and welcome back to the channel. There is something I want to admit. I really love Don't Starve Together. It was the first game I bought on Steam. A lot of my friends had Don't Starve Together when we were first starting playing Identity 5, and I really wanted to play with them. You know, there's only so much Identity 5 you could take before you want to hurl yourself off a bridge. So I bought the game, and I've been hooked ever since. I have a healthy amount of hours, to say the least. About probably less than the amount of hours I have in Identity 5, but it's still a lot of hours. Despite the amount of hours I have, unlike Identity 5, I am not very good at Don't Starve. Now, don't get me wrong, if you were to tell me to fight a raid boss like Deer Clubs, Dragonfly, Moose Goose, then I'd probably be able to do it. However, if you were to tell me to fight an actual boss, like the Nightmare Werepig, Ancient Fuel Weaver, or Celestial Champion, I probably would struggle a lot doing so. I'm able to do a lot of the basic bosses, or the bosses that aren't really that hard to do, but when it comes to an actual challenge, that is not something I wanted to do. It is not something I am capable of doing, and it is because I just am not very acquainted with the battle system of this game. Nevertheless, I wanted to give it a go on this run, especially considering this is the newest update. With the newest update, there have been a lot of changes to the characters, specifically to my main, Wendy. No, not that Wendy, this Wendy. Wendy has a sister named Abigail who acts as a follower. She acts as a summon, and she has a great ability to do AoE damage, and she's able to buff Abigail's, goddammit. She's able to buff Wendy's damage. This is really good for new players, but I really love Wendy's synergy with Beefalo. And I really wanted to try and do a boss run with Wendy. Now, I'm not going to lie with you, this is not that boss run. Why? Well, because I died during it. I wanted to face the shadow pieces because one of Abigail's skills allows her to fight the shadow pieces really easily. However, I was an idiot. I did not have any speed boost. I did not know where the road was. It was winter. I couldn't see where the road was. My head was backwards. And I wasn't paying attention to my health, so I ended up dying. However, I still wanted to see what the battle would have looked like if, I wasn't such an idiot. So I rolled back, did the boss. However, the knight wasn't there because I killed him before the day turned. So I rolled back again, tried it again. This time I somehow despawned the bishop. I don't know how I did this. I guess it's because I went too far away. I was trying to fight the rook and the knight by themselves, but then I guess the bishop just despawned. So, don't forget the bishop next time, guys, if you're going to fight the shadow pieces. I know this seems very obvious, but like I said, I have not been acquainted with this side of the game. But on the third attempt, I was able to do it successfully. And I am going to show you why the new update makes it so much easier to fight the shadow pieces as Wendy. Now, even though this run was successful, even though I died during it, I was still really proud of this run because this was the first time I have ever rushed the shadow pieces on a new moon that isn't day one. Anytime I were to fight the shadow pieces, it would either be in a group or I would have a shit ton of prep time, and I'd be able to get the gear necessary to be able to fight it. However, this is the first time I have deliberately went and honed in my skills to try and rush these shadow pieces. And while there are a lot of mistakes I did, I was overall really proud of this run, and I really wanted to show this off to you guys while explaining every single twist and turn that came in this run. So without further ado, let's get into the run proper. As mentioned, I will be playing Wendy for this run, and that is because she was one of the few characters who got a skill tree with the update. Now, these skill trees are very unique because they are meant to help out with certain problems that the characters have, and Wendy's is no exception. I'm gonna be honest, Wendy's is actually the one character with one of the more unique skill trees in the games, mainly because Wendy is already a good character, and the skill tree isn't meant to be fixing any problems, and it's just trying to make her more unique and have a lot more flavor to Wendy's gameplay, which I appreciate. I will be talking about the skills that I brought throughout the run. One of the skills was bugged, I'm just not gonna lie. I tried using it, it just didn't work. It sucked ass. But most of the skills did work. And so, yeah, it's going to be really good showing them off. I'm going to be talking about them as they go along. Something to note is that every character has both a Shadow and Lunar skill, which is basically their ultimate skills. I went with Shadow because I thought this would be really good for the boss. It wasn't, I'm not going to lie. But I still showed it off extremely well, I feel, so I'm going to be talking about it. In the early game, I'm just going to be collecting basic resources because, well, there's really nothing you can do in the early game. I make sure to rile Abigail up because, well, I just want to kill butterflies. I want to save up on carrots and berries, and butterfly wings are a good alternative. Additionally, butterfly wings are a really good early game heal since they heal you for 8 health, which in the early game is really good since most mobs will not be dealing more than, 10 to 20 HP, so, 3 butterfly wings would be more than enough to heal that off. I'm going to, a couple of things to note before we move on. One, the audio is going to be a little bit scuffed. I still don't know how to use OBS, so the audio is not going to sound the best. I'm sorry about that. I will do my best to fix this later on, or any videos going forward, if I do more PC gaming. But for now, you're just going to you just need to deal with the scuffed audio. Number 2, if the video looks a little bit choppy, I apologize for that. I tried doing a test stream where I am able to, fix any, buffering or, any bitrate errors, and it just didn't work, so, that's just something you also have to deal with. I will do my best to try and fix all these issues down the road, but for now, we're just going to need to deal with this. And number 3, I'm going to be speeding up the footage of all the downtime that we have during this run, and that is because this video is this entire gameplay took about 3 hours to do, and I really do not want to show off all those 3 hours of just me just running around doing random bullshit. And yeah, right here we got really lucky. We were able to find the shadow piece set piece, the shadow pieces, so we are able to, as long as we find the actual pieces themselves, we will be able to set this up extremely early. So yeah, this is just going to be me, just now that we found it, all we need to do is just gather resources, get our science up. We're just going to speed things along, and yeah, hope you enjoy.
Hullabaloo, the roar that made me whole, the lights, the crawl, where I found my soul, each jump and each laugh, a story to tell, but behind it all, I'm lost in this shell. Hullabaloo, this world I thought I knew, but its shadows hide the light. The whispers of betrayal cut right through, lost in this dark and endless night. Hullabaloo, my heavens fall, hullabaloo. hell, everything I knew's gone cold as I stand here all alone. The echoes will haunt the stage so dim and gray, where the dreams have fled, and shadows will hide the terrible truth. Far away I stand among the dead.
Now, I'm taking a short detour into the caves to pick up some light bulbs because I want to make a lantern later down in the line. For this run, I will be taming a beefalo, so my twigs and grass will be a expendable resource. Because of that, making torches is just not viable, and I am going to need a longer lasting light source, and that is what the lantern is for. Additionally, as you saw in the montage, I was able to make a ton of stuff during it. I was able to make a science machine, and with it, I was able to prototype the alchemy engine alongside a shovel, some rope, a backpack, a butterfly net, and a beefalo bell. That's not all the things that I made, at least that's not all the things that I thought I made, but those are the most crucial items that I was able to craft at that first science machine. Now, the butterfly net, I'm sure it'll be a little bit weird to make a butterfly net. Like, why the hell are you going to be making a butterfly net? But trust me, this will become extremely important later down in the run in due time. So let's just move on to the next stage, which is, finding the beefalo themselves. Now, later on, I'm just going to speed this up right now, but I was able to get extremely lucky because I was able to find a swamp. And not only was I able to find the swamp, but I was able to find a lot of pig heads. Now, it's kind of rare. I don't know. I don't know the chances of finding pig heads in the swamp, but I think it was pretty rare to find pig heads. So finding this much pig heads at the swamp was a really good boon, because this would be my armor source for the rest of the game. This means I can make both the piggyback and the saddle without worrying about armor. Not only that, but I was able to find a touchstone later down the line. In fact, I was able to find 2 touchstones. A little bit of spoilers for later, but I was able to find 2 touchstones. So armor was just not a problem for this run. I was able to have all the armor. I mean, as you know from the beginning, this really didn't matter in the end, but still, this was a really good start to this run. And, yeah, I don't think I could have gotten a luckier start to it. But, yeah, let's just speed up until I'm able to actually get some progress on either the shadow pieces or literally something else. So yeah, not even that long later, I was able to actually find beefalo. And at this point, I thought to myself, okay, cool. Now that I found beefalo, it's probably time to set up camp. Obviously, you see me using the bell right now. The reason I'm doing this is because I'm trying to drag the beefalo away from the herd in order to kill them off one by one. It's actually very easy to lead a beefalo away from his herd, contrary to popular belief. All you need is a bell. You just need to bind them to the bell, drag them away from the herd, break your bond with the bell, and then just go and kill it. It's as simple as that. Now, at this point, I'm just setting up my science machine because, my alchemy engine, because at this point, I think I'm going to base it. This was a mistake, and you will see this a lot later, because this is, in fact, not where I decided to base, and I had to come back to this alchemy engine a lot of times. Many, many times, in fact. This could have been a lot easier had I just made another alchemy engine, or if I had just, waited But I really wanted the lantern, I wanted the armor, I wanted the beefalo stuff ready by now. So yeah, we're just gonna have to deal with that. Patch Geo has to suffer through my mistakes, but oh well. Eventually, Abigail gets really low because, well, she wasn't tier 3. For those of you who don't know, Abigail takes 3 days to level up to her max. She doesn't start out at max HP. She starts out at 150 HP when you start the game, or when she dies. Then it takes her a whole day to reach level 2 where she has 300 HP, and then level 3 where she has 600 HP. And yeah, because of that, she got really low, so I'm forced to de-summon her. Fortunately, one beefalo is all it takes for me to actually craft the saddle, so it's not that big of a deal. And because I have all the gold, I'm able to craft the saddle eventually and start the taming process. And when you start taming a beefalo, the early game gets so much easier because beefalo just have so much speed. They have so much speed. You can wear a piggyback. You don't have to worry about the speed penalty of the piggyback. It's just more inventory. It's really good. And yeah, as you can see, I'm starting up the crafting process of the cistern as well. I need ash for the cistern. You will see later on there is a perk that I have for the cistern, so this ash is going to be incredibly helpful later on in the line. There's really not much to say. I'm just going to be locating these pieces. I do end up finding the knight's head extremely early, so that is a good thing. Another thing to note is that this is a triple map world. That's not really important for now, and not really for later, let's be honest. However, that is something interesting to know. Anyways, let's just speed up now. Let's just speed up until I either find all the pieces or something noteworthy happens.
Lately I just feel so fine. I imagine that you're
Now, it's at this point that we found the mosaic. This is really good for two reasons. One, it's because there are gravestones here. And where there are gravestones, there are pips. Now, one of these skills in Wendy's tree, well, 3 skills in Wendy's tree rely on pipsqueaks. One of the things is the fact that the toys that the pipsqueaks will force you to find are closer together. For those of you who don't know, when you activate a pipsqueak, it is essentially a glorified scavenger hunt. It requires you to find these missing toys that are in a area of the map, and once you find them, they will drop Morning Glory. Once you find all of them, they will drop a bunch of Morning Glory before disappearing. This can often be tedious because not only is the amount of Morning Glory that they drop very low, but also the toys can spawn in extremely far areas or across like biomes. So you need to just walk all the way around an area in order to actually reach a toy. With this skill, you don't need to worry about that anymore. Additionally, there is a skill that allows toys to spawn closer to each other, and there are another skill that allows you to have more hunts, which means more Morning Glory. It does mean more hunts, which means you still need to find more toys, but with the closer skill, it shouldn't be that big of a problem. Finally, there is a skill that allows you to drop more Morning Glory, which is just really good because, well, more Morning Glory. Usually, one hunt will give you up to about 18 to 20 Morning Glory, which is really, really good. Additionally, the mosaic hides the moonstone and the moon rocks and the ice, which is really good if you are going the lunar route, because this means you are able to speedrun the moon dial, which is necessary to making Gestalt Abigail. Now, I'm not going to be talking about Gestalt Abigail in too much detail because obviously I'm not using her for this run. However, all you need to know is that instead of doing AoE damage, Abigail does one giant hit when she's in her Gestalt state. She will constantly try to avoid damage and only go in when she is going to attack. She is invincible during her attack. At the cost of single targets, she does one really big hit, and her Vex, which is the thing that allows Wendy to do more damage, it lasts longer, so you are able to constantly do more damage. Now, I kind of wish I did go for the lunar skill because this would have been really good, and I'll be honest, the shadow skill wasn't really that useful in the end. Then again, I'm kind of happy I didn't go for the lunar skill, and you'll see later. However, just note that if I were doing this run again, I would be going for the Gestalt Abigail because survivability is typically what you need against the shadow pieces. Anyways, let's beat this up again. Now, a couple of things to note before moving on. One, no, I did not change where I was speaking at. You are hallucinating. And two, this is where I make two giant mistakes in the run. You see, I noticed that giant beehive. That is where Bee Queen spawns. I've also noticed that this is the same marble set piece that I can use to fight the shadow pieces. And the two mistakes are, one, I decide to fight Bee Queen. Now, this might not seem like a mistake in a vacuum. However, this means I have a lot more preparations I need to do in order to actually fight Bee Queen. And then fight the shadow pieces on top of that. And number two, for whatever reason, I decided not to use this set piece in order to fight the shadow pieces. And instead decided to use the set piece next to the swamp. And I'm sure you can see from the beginning of the video, you can understand why this was not a good idea. And why this would eventually go horribly wrong. However, now it is just me prepping for the Bee Queen fight. Eventually, I do take a break in order to use the bathroom. I'm just going to be transparent. So, yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Next time, this is a lesson for in the future. Next time the world decides to give you a much easier option, just go with it.
Once a girl who dreamed of angels and demons and darling between, lived in a castle of stone like a family, dwelt in the courtyard and danced with her memories of love and enchantment.
I actually do get insanely lucky here. So as you saw initially, I did find the knight head again, which makes sense because, well, there's two set pieces with the shadow pieces. However, then I immediately find both the bishop and the rook head. And I swear, this is literally the world telling me to use that set piece next to the beehive. And my dumbass was like, yeah, sure, let's just use the one next to the swamp. Let's just make my life harder. But yeah, live and learn, I guess. There's nothing else to say. Let's just move on to the next section, which is the Bee Queen prep.
Kept her mouth shut and her dreams like a family, tempered her memories and bowed to her betters like lonely family. Memories escape me, lonely use me. Memories escape me.
Right now, I am collecting charcoal in order to make crockpots in the future. For the Bee Queen fight, I'm going to need multiple things. However, I'm going to tell you the two most important items I'm going to be needing. One is beekeeper hats. For those of you who don't know, there's different types of armor in the game, and one of those armors is beekeeper hats. Now, while beekeeper hats are ineffective against normal mobs, their main draw is the fact that they protect you from 80% of damage against bees, and they last way longer than football helmets if you get hit by bees. So, it is overall better for you to use beekeeper hats instead of football helmets for the bee queen fight. The next thing is marble suits. Now, marble suits have a whopping 95% damage reduction when you wear them, and they have a lot of health, so they will last you for most of the fight. That being said, they are really expensive to craft, and you have a speed penalty when you are wearing them. Now, I don't really care about the speed penalty, it's just the marble that I'm worried about. Fortunately, there are so many marble set pieces in this world that I don't really need to worry about the marble. So, the main concern is just getting the materials necessary to make multiple crockpots, being able to make multiple fridges, and then setting up for the Bee Queen fight. Additionally, I have 5 graves on me, and this is good for a multitude of reasons. One of them is because one of the gravestone skills allows you to plant flowers, or at least petals, on the gravestones to spawn big spooks. Now, what's really good about these big spooks is the fact that while they won't target Bee Queen herself, they will target the grumble bees that spawn from Bee Queen. This is really good because this allows Abigail to have a sort of backup, sort of reinforcements in order to protect her against the grumble bees, thus allowing her to stay alive for longer, thus allowing you to not need to use up any healing on Abigail during the fight. It's actually extremely good, and I do recommend bringing Gravestones 1 and 2 because Gravestone 2 allows you to relocate gravestones using a shovel. Additionally, digging up graves using a shovel does not use up durability, so it is 100% worth it to bring this skill. I don't really recommend Gravestone 3 because the only way to actually make graves is to, put them on a skeleton, which is just not worth it unless you just want trinkets. But that being said, as you can see, I've crafted a plethora of things. One of those things being the crockpot, as mentioned. Also a fridge, birdcage. I also made a piggyback now, so now I have more inventory space. Yeah, the rest of this is just going to be continuing me to prep for the Bee Queen fight. I'm going to need a lot of eggs, so I'm going to need a lot of meat. I'm going to need a lot of veggies. I'm going to need a lot of filler. It's definitely a lot. And I need to do all this before day 21, because that is when the next new moon is happening, and I want to fight the shadow pieces by then. So I'm just going to collect this marble. I'm going to have Abigail rile up the butterflies. So I'm going to have some wings, so I can eat them, because I need to save on food. And yeah, let's just get back to the video. Right now, I am in the middle of the process of creating the big spooks. I am placing the gravestones next to the giant beehive so I can prepare for the fight. All I need is 3 petals in order to summon the big spooks. I can only have up to 4 big spooks per area. and these big spooks, while they will not target Bee Queen, will target her Grumblebees. These ghosts do AoE damage, which will help tremendously during the fight. Nothing else much to say, just putting in the gravestones for now. I still need to collect the materials, so we're just going to get on to that. Now, this is where my incompetence starts to shine. You see, I kind of forgot that you can't pick anything up or use any hand items when you are carrying the marble pieces. I was really stubborn right now, so I thought to myself, well, I might as well try and get the marble over there. And while it didn't really go horribly, it could have went terribly wrong in certain situations. I did not learn this lesson throughout the entire run, except for the rook head, where I decided to wait until the morning in order to actually start moving it. So I wouldn't need to worry about darkness, I wouldn't need to worry about getting bucked off my beefalo, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. A lesson for later, get a head skier slot that allows you to see in the dark. Now, this is where the run gets a lot more annoying. You see, I may have skimmed over through this a lot earlier, but I had placed my fridges at the Bee Queen area. This is because I decided to set my base of operation here. The problem being is that my alchemy engine is still out here. Once again, I just did not have the foresight to make another alchemy engine, so I constantly went back to this alchemy engine, which was really annoying. This has bit me in the ass a lot of times. I tried circumventing it by crafting the things that I know I would need before leaving, at least crafting them once so I'll have the recipe. But even then, it still was really, really annoying to do this run because I constantly needed to come back to this alchemy engine. I honestly should have moved it, or at least hold off on making it until I knew a proper place to put it down and set up camp. However, I just did not do that, and it bit me in the ass in the long run. So that is another lesson for if I were to do this again. Be more mindful where you place down your science. it's at this point that I realize something is really wrong. So I brought the picnic casket box, which allows me to make a casket. In this casket, I can hold all of Wendy's elixirs, at least 8 at a time per stack. Now, when you bring this skill, you're supposed to get a recipe, but for some reason, I just did not get the recipe for the picnic casket. I don't know if this is a bug or if this is just the game fucking with me. I really don't know. This was the newest update, so I should have been able to craft it. In fact, the crafting recipe is in the game if you were to use free crafting. However, I just couldn't be able to craft it. I mean, it's not like I even used it anyways, but still, this is an issue that I feel like should be brought up. At this point, I basically crafted everything I need in order to fight the Big Queen fight, other than the elixirs. I will need to do the elixirs later. However, it is very easy to actually make them. I will be using Spectral Cure-All and Nightshade Nostrum, which are extremely simple to make. For Spectral Cure-All, all I need is a Telltale Heart. Now, all this requires is Spider Glands, Grass, and a bit of your health, so it's a very leeching item to create. However, this gives Abigail a whopping 30 HP per second for 30 seconds, so essentially acts like a full heal for Abigail at 600 HP. Additionally, Nightshade Nostrum is also extremely easy to craft. All you need is Stingers and Morning Glory. I forgot to mention this as well, but the Spectral Cure-All also requires Morning Glory and the Telltale Heart. Unlike a lot of the other crafts, these two items require 3 Morning Glory instead of 1. However, the reason is because their effects are very potent. For example, Nightshade Nostrum gives you nighttime damage. For those of you who don't know, which I'm sure is some of you, Abigail's damage scales depending on what time of day it is. If it is the daytime, Abigail will only be doing 15 damage. If it is the evening, Abigail will be doing around like 20 or 30 damage, and at nighttime she will do her max damage at 40. And with Nightshade Nostrum, it makes it so Abigail's damage will always be 40, no matter the time of day. This becomes really important later because Abigail, while she does not do enough damage by herself, combined with Wendy, it allows her to get a lot of damage in on bosses. Other than that, there's not really much I need to do. All I really need to do is gather food and materials in order to make pierogies and a hambit, and then I will be able to eventually fight Bee Queen. So yeah, let's just move on to the gathering process. It is at this point that I have gathered most of the ingredients necessary in order to make the pierogies. However, I am still missing a lot of meat, both to make the eggs to make the pierogies, the meat for the pierogies themselves, and also for the ham bat that I'm going to need for the fight. So it is at this point I've decided to make a heavy choice. Not heavy proactively, but a heavy choice morally. I'm sorry, Beefarella, but I need to do this. So anyways, now I have all the meat necessary in order to make the pierogies. So I'm going to be quickly speedrunning the pierogies and also making the ham bat. As well as I'm going to make some last minute elixirs because once again I forgot to make them. So I'm going to be doing that. Now this is where the cistern skill comes into play. So I have cistern 4. What these skills do is it allows me to park Abigail at a cistern. While she is at a cistern, she will be slowly building up HP. Basically, she can go over her max limit depending on what kind of skills you have. If you have cistern 3, you will be able to increase Abigail's max health from 600 to 900. And if you have cistern 4, you can go from 600 to a whopping 1200 HP. That is a lot of HP, and it allows Abigail to tank a lot of the bosses. Well, not all the bosses, because she still takes more damage, but it still allows her to stay in the fight a lot longer than she would have. The only problem is you need to be next to the cistern for most of the time. If you wander too far away from the cistern, Abigail will try to follow you, and she will not be benefiting from the increased HP if she were to do that. Obviously, this ends when you call her back, but she can't build up HP if you are far away. That is why we will be doing it while we are cooking the pierogies. Now, a couple of things to note. This health is not permanent, but there is a bug that makes it so it is permanent until you leave into the caves. I will not be abusing that bug for the Shadow Pieces fight. So, I will be going back into the caves, A, for light bulbs, and B, to reset her HP. So I can build it up again later. And with that, that's really all that needs to be said, and it's just going to be last minute prep before the Bee Queen fight. Remember how I said that the bug net will be useful for something later on? Well, now it's finally time we get to talk about this. You see, one of Wendy's new skills allows her to go through the Shadow Path, and one of the Shadow Path skills requires you to murder monsters. Now, in order to murder monsters, you're going to need to have the creature in your inventory. This can be ranged from butterflies to rabbits to bees to spiders. It could be to anything that you could murder that goes into your inventory and you can murder. Now, why is this so important? Well, it's because when you murder a mob, it grants Abigail a temporary 2 times damage and 2 times defense for about 8 seconds, depending on how many mobs you have killed. So let's say you have killed about 20 mobs in your inventory. That means Abigail will benefit from 160 seconds of double damage and double defense. This is really good as it just, buffs up Abigail's DPS. So now instead of doing 40 damage when you use Nightshade Nostrip or fighting in the dark, you are now dealing 80 damage. Now, this is where the bugnet comes in, because now we have a purpose to catching bees. We can just catch the bees and keep them in our inventory, and then when we need to use them, we will murder them from our inventory and get the damage buffs. This is honestly not that great, I'll be honest. At least not unless you have the other elixir, which I don't. But you will be able to see that Abigail is doing more damage during the Bee Queen fight, and you will see just how it works, pretty much. There's really not much else to say. We're just catching bees now, and then we're going to be supercharging Abigail, creating the pierogies, and then getting on with the boss fight.
All alone, no one to call home, just one little lonely soul. Another day, another night, no one cares. And they wonder, what should I do? What's wrong with me? Anyone there? Someone to lean on, at least for once. But one day, there is this voice. I'm like you, and you have a choice. Once you follow my ways, yours, full of treasures, euphoria, rapture, fun. It is like they say, one of them, no more alone. Now forever, and for once, a glimpse of happiness and hope. Once there was a kid that wanted to be free, lost and felt so wrong. No place there to hide, no space where they can shine. Just one big lonely road. In the end, all they wanted was one true friend.
Now, it is at this point that I am finally ready, or at least confident enough to fight the Bee Queen. Now, if you notice from my footage, I have a lot of problems sorting out my inventory, and at one point I forgot to take my pierogies out of my fridge. so I had to walk all the way over there in order to actually pull them out. Not only that, but I think I attacked one of the ghosts on accident, so they aggroed me for a second before realizing they're not supposed to aggro me. So yeah, this Bee Queen fight was a lot more scuffed than I wanted it to go, but it still did recently well. It still did decent. I still really enjoyed the fight. It still went very smoothly. And yeah, I'm going to show this fight in full, and you get to see my errors. The only annoying part is the fact that Bee Queen will occasionally fly over the water. And at that point, all you need to do is just corral her into coming back into you. Like I said, it's just annoying. There's nothing really wrong with it. It's just something that can get annoying at times, and it's just a pain in the ass. I have Abigail at like 1,900 health, which is extremely good. That's with all the prep I did with the pierogies, with the crafting, just running around gathering resources, making steam twigs, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, please enjoy the fight. Once again, I didn't really need to kill Bee Queen. I could have just focused on the shadow pieces, but she does have some amazing drops that I can use. First off is the bundling wrap blueprint, which I can use to wrap up my Hambat and my pierogies in order to save them for the shadow pieces fight. So this is really good. The other thing she drops is royal jellies, which I can use to make jelly beans. All I need to use is 1 royal jelly and 3 fillers. It doesn't matter which filler it is, as long as it is not meat or any sort of inedible, it should be fine. Well, so once again, I really don't have much to do anymore. All it is just me biding my time in order until winter. And once again, as I stated, this run already ended with me dying to the shadow pieces, as you saw at the beginning. I prefer not to spoil. I prefer not to like leave it until the end to where like just for disappointment. So yeah, this is all just dead air, just me just like wandering around, gathering grass, gathering resources, you know, getting the walking cane, and then eventually my 3rd attempt. So let's just fast forward to that 3rd attempt, shall we?
Whatever mess you're in, demons you've been fighting, the demons you've been fighting.
Just look within, don't be afraid. Just look within, don't be afraid. All my heroes, let me hear you. All my heroes, let me hear you.
Now, for the Shadow Pieces fight, there are two skills in Wendy's tree that are really important for this fight, other than Blessed Cistern. Number one is the Blessed Cistern 2 skill. This basically reduces Wendy's sanity drain when she is next to hostile mobs or monsters. Since the Shadow Pieces count as monsters, Wendy's sanity drain against them is actually really low, which means that even though I am next to these really sanity draining entities, I am still able to fight them without the risk of shadow creatures spawning, which is really good. The second ability that will be in use is the escape command for Wendy. For those of you who don't know, Abigail has a series of commands that you can unlock by using the skill tree. However, for this fight, I only have one command that is active, which is escape. When you use escape, Abigail will try to come to your location and turn invisible. While she is invisible, she will lose her... While she is invisible, she will become invincible temporarily, and she will de-aggro any hostile mobs. Now, this is really good because this allows her to get out of very dicey situations without you needing to despawn her and respawn her back. It is a very quick process and easy process to do. However, it is especially good in this fight because this means that you can fight the bishop and have Abigail aggro onto the bishop, and when the bishop attacks, you can just use the escape skill to get Abigail away from danger and be able to fight the bishop normally. There are a few problems. Once again, I was an idiot. I am not the best player in the game, or even that decent of a player. So I ended up getting a lot of hits in. I ended up getting hit a lot. I ended up taking more damage than I should. I probably could have died in this fight, I'm just being honest. I had to play it really safe. And yeah, I just feel like there are a lot of things that I just did not do really well. However, I'm still really proud about how the fight went, and I'm still very happy that my idea of the escape tactic being used actually pulled off. So, I'm just going to stop yapping now, and I'm just going to let this fight play in full. And with that, that concludes my run of Don't Starve Together playing as the new Wendy. While I didn't beat the shadow pieces on my first try, I'm still really happy with this run because this was the first time I've ever speedrun the shadow pieces, as well as killing Bee Queen in the middle of it. And while I did die, my strategy that I had did work, so it does tell me that if I was a little bit smarter, and if I, wasn't an idiot with where my placements were, I probably would have been in this fight on my first try. Although, that's probably overconfidence talking. In any case, that's it for today's video. If you like more content like this, please let me know. I think this is the one type of content where I am very confident in using my voice because I can mess up all I want and it's not going to matter as much as, say, a scripted video like the Hullabaloo video. Nevertheless, let me know if you want more content on this channel or if you want content like this on my other channel, not just Sergio. Yeah, I'm just signing off now. Happy New Year's, everyone. I hope you all have a fantastic New Year, and I will see you all in the next video.